Welcome to Midnight Podcast Thursday. I'm Dan, the Black Viking. Tonight's podcast is a story night. I was listening to the radio the other day. They were covering the U.S. elections and the debates going on. And there was a story about somebody suing someone else over some bullshit. And I got to thinking, what if instead of all the petty lawsuits we have, the outcome of all lawsuits was decided by duel? People would think twice before throwing out these crap lawsuits for Oreos and McDonald's makes me fat and whatnot, right? And also, people who were suing big corporations would actually stand a fighting chance, might actually be on equal footing. And so I was just thinking about dueling and everything that would go along with that, extrapolating from there, how people and the government and commerce would all work, would all be affected. So here it is. First part of my story, duel, on Thursday's Midnight Podcast. It's 2012 right now. Obama wins the election. I don't want him to. I'm not a Republican or anything. He just really was our last best hope for something better. You go into the voting booth thinking, okay, it's a second term. I ain't taking no shit term. But no dice. Same old, same old. Lobbyists bought and sold to Congress. The president is just a puppet. He doesn't read the bills. He just signs them. So, in the future, weed is illegal. Torrents illegal. All music except iTunes illegal. Bitcoins illegal. Universal health care never going to happen. Good teachers in our public schools, forget about it. New movies, they all suck, and on and on and on, same bullshit. 35 or so years into the future, our current president really likes Red Bulls. I mean, a lot. Always got a can on the podium when they're making a speech. Our legal system, though, has gone through a fundamental shift. Now, nearly every lawsuit is conducted by duel. Not always to the death, but sometimes. You ask, of course, how? It is America, but it's going to happen. Trust me. See, a certain liberal podcast host, Cracknut, was talking shit about the TSA. Yeah, they're here to stay. He was going on a flight, and the agent was scanning him, running his facials through the social media databases. The Cracknut had already been verified in the agent's Google Glass display. It's a big government contract. There were too many complaints about the full body scanners. The images were just being hacked for child porn. But anyway, the agent was just browsing through this guy's social media and caught sight of a picture from an old Facebook profile of the Cracknuts from a time when he was between wives or about to be, probably because of this very picture. The Cracknut was at the family summer home in the hot tub with a woman who was not Mrs. Cracknut, but inevitably next in a long line of Mrs. Cracknuts. The TSA agent made a remark in the slang of the times to the effect of, "Damn, big old titties. Them the kind of milk titties that milk you." To be fair, they were nice tits. You know, the kind you can only describe with fondling gestures and making sucking sounds. Of course, Cracknut, being a sensationalist podcaster, went to work on the TSA and its ill-educated, rude staff. But mostly, he badmouthed the specific agent by name on his show and on Twitter. The agent was a dumb black guy with bad credit and suspicious of the law. So instead of taking up the fly-by-night lawyers' offers to take the matter to court, the agent, ex-agent Jones, I believe his name was, got into a flame war with Cracknut. They wrote ugly tweets back and forth until Jones sent out a call to Cracknut to see me in the streets, to which came the reply, "Okay." And the host had a contract drawn up. "Well, I win. You admit your treatment was harassment and that the TSA is a corrupt, pointless organization. They don't keep anyone safe, And all the hassle is just a smokescreen to give the illusion that they actually serve a purpose. And if you win, I'll give you $3,500. I admit I was wrong to insult you, and I will compliment or advertise you on my show every day for a month. Cracknut sold the advertising and got permits to film and fight. He struck a deal for live streaming on Hulu Premium. Bim bam boom. Cracknut made a shit ton. Jones made $3,500, which he grew from free advertising on the Cracknuts podcast into an MMA and basic self-defense gym where a certain soccer mom learned to fight. This soccer mom, mid-40s, nice tan, strawberry blonde, brown at the roots, a feminine spray of freckles on her bust, which she thought was cute, so she always wore tops that showed off her sexy cleavage and cute speckles. Janice was her name. She didn't cook, but she could sew and make jewelry, shiny rocks and patterned shells and asymmetric configurations always adorned her wrists, but never a necklace. Her tits and specs would draw your eyes upwards. To be sure, her custom hoodie blouses were always cute. The way she'd have the body and sleeves one solid color and put a unique patterned or original printed hood on top. Some had ties or zippers that stopped right at the chest, so you had to wear one of her custom tanks to keep your breasts from showing. Janice was in a car accident, a fender bender, with some Asian bitch. The bitch was quite hostile. Her working long days in a small carry-out restaurant, just her and her husband and their 11-year-old daughter, Sherry, to run the register when she finished her homework. The two women yelled and cursed into each other's faces. "You want to go, bitch? You Asian bitch? I'll kick your ass." "Fuck you! You want to fighting me?" Janice's son, Caden, is quite savvy and calms his mother, pulling her away from the Asian bitch, only to talk her into drawing up a fight contract. They get set up with Hulu, and both agree to guaranteed compensation and to drop the insurance claims. The Asian bitch gets a new car and free ad space for the broadcast. She's a shrewd negotiator. After the fight, Janice gets a spot on whatever season of Real Housewives. Her hoodies explode, and bam. Word on the street is, you got a beef, dueling is the way to go. UFC made no holds barred fighting the norm. In duels, people are responsible for their own contracts. If both parties agree and the requisite waivers are signed, anything goes. Clawing, biting, eventually bats, and in some states, Texas and Georgia, sabers and fights to the death have become the norm. People begin hiring professional duelers, and with some lobbying, corporations got the unanimous consent law struck down, and now you don't even have to agree to be challenged. Of course, you aren't required to fight, but in that case, you automatically lose and are liable, and you just get sued in regular court. If duels didn't make a comeback, I suspect 2050 would be a lot like 2012, just with self-driving cars and even more pet lizards. That's like a big thing now. I don't know why. Chapter 1. Craig woke up to the gentle but annoyed kicks of his wife Andrea. Groggy, still drunk, but less. Andrea speaking. "Ugh, look at you guys. You're drunk." Craig is speaking. "What? No, we're working. Tom. Tom speaking. "Whoop. I'm up. The two men climb each other to stand up. Craig's wife Andrea looks at the general disarray of the spare room / studio. Andrea speaking. "What are you even doing? You're just playing radio in here." Craig speaking. "Could be playing with your tits in here." Andrea speaking. "Ew, So nasty. Don't talk like that. Tom is right there. Tom speaking. It's okay, Andrea. He can play with my tits. Craig speaking. Oh, thanks. Tom speaking. You're welcome. Juvenile laughter ensues. The two friends sat at their computers and scoured the web for obscure history facts and whatever unique crafts they could find to make fun of. They found some swingers to interview, notable because they were looking for ghetto butch lesbians to get fucked by the husband. Highly unlikely to find, but lots of ammo for the two friends' comedy. They make fun of Tom for getting too drunk at the basketball game and dancing horribly. And they criticize the newest movie remake of I Am Legend because it didn't star Will Smith's son, Jaden, and, according to them, not enough hollow boobies. The show is a success, and they wrap, signing off in their usual manner with racial insults. Craig speaking. Good night, you pale, light, bright, vampire-looking motherfucker. Tom speaking. Good night to you too, you dark-ass, midnight, ape creature son of a bitch. The two friends say goodbye, and Tom hops into his dirty Ford and drives home. He turns on an old episode of his show. He's totally not a big ego guy, but this one episode he listens to often. Episode number 141, Wifecast. They intro the show as a payback episode. They complain on their wives constantly. Now the tables are turned. 141 was the last evidence that Tom ever had a happy marriage. Frenchie, Tom's nickname for his wife, was all smiles and laughter as she joked about his snoring. They all cracked up about the time she got on the computer and he'd left the granny porn he was beating it to on the screen. No, that was misdirection, see? She never found my tranny porn. Big laughs all around. Tom threw his head back and laughed at his own joke. As he tilted it again towards the road, he ran a stop sign. By the time he was in an alert driver position, the children were screaming. He was an automotive tinkerer, evidenced by his hands and forearms, thick and rough and constantly spotted with oil. He gripped the wheel with vice-like tension. Tom has always had the most expressive, deep blue eyes. Looking into them is like looking down a hallway lined with beautiful paintings, except when he's crashing into a bus full of children, his eyes only plead. No, please, God, no. But of course, God doesn't do what we beg for. He only does what we ask for in passing after a couple of months. So Tom hits a bus full of children at low speed. And children are rubbery, so a little whiplash is fun for them. A nasty bruise on his own forehead, so all's well that ends well. Except one plump child, Perseus Brown, freckly and annoying, is getting hit in the back of the head with a see-through pink plastic ruler by the nasty bully boy. After the accident, Perseus is left with a large gash in his cheek. Actually, the impending scar will go a long way during his college years in helping him occupy the manly name his parents blessed him with. These Greek and Roman names are all over the place in 2051. It's a thing now, after they remade Ben-Hur for the first time on its 90th anniversary in 2049. As the bus driver, probably the same elderly man that drove your school bus, escorted the children off of the bus. Tom sat in his car, and his vacant eyes watched kid after kid file off of the yellow box. His brain counted them and ran the futile calculations. 17 children plus 1 adult minus, they're all walking, times, oh shit, that one's holding his cheek, to the third power, fuck, that fat kid is fucking bleeding, equals, I'm fucking dead. He called his ex, and he called Craig at the same time to I don't know, Why do we call anybody when we get ourselves into shit? And there's no way anyone could help us anyways. Only one of them picked up. And there you have it, folks. That is the first chapter of Duel. I'm working to bring you guys a podcast every weekday. Every weekday except one is like a secret podcast. Only for subscribers, because it's just too explosive, too incendiary, too dangerous. You will be able to subscribe to hear it. I'll give you a taste of it maybe next time. Maybe you'll get a taste, see what you're missing, see what you might. It's like my plans to change the world or change America or something. I don't know how to describe it. It's just the innermost depths that you cannot get anywhere else. That's it for Midnight Podcast. Thursday, October 11th, 2012. See you guys tomorrow.